Greetings everyone, this is SteamTeamRedubUK, CC Trainor-Ling, here to bring you another episode review from Season 5 of The Loud House. Today's episode is titled, Dad Reputation. First we'll discuss the plot, and then my thoughts and critiques with my final score. So, let's get right into it. The episode begins with Luna hearing the horrible playing of her dad's new band, the Doodads. After she gets them to play more harmoniously during practice, and rather quickly I may add, the band wants Luna to play a gig with them at Lynn's table, even though she worries being seen with them will ruin her image as a serious musician. After avoiding getting spotted at the restaurant, the band wants her to perform with them again for the Royal Woods Festival in the park. After trying to fake an injury and do whatever she can to make sure no one recognizes her, Mr. Loud figures out Luna's plan and says she doesn't have to perform with the band. But when she sees her dad tensing up on stage, Luna joins the Doodads and wins the approval of everyone, including her friends. Well, that concludes the plot of the episode, so now we come to my thoughts and critiques. As it is with every Luna episode, there's always a certain level of great expectation I set for myself, and this one didn't let me down, at least not on her part. But before I proceed any further, I'm just going to get the obvious joke out of the way. If I were a hater of this episode, I'd have no problem in saying, I don't give a damn about dad reputation. Yeah, you knew that was coming. Anyway, this was another great episode in portraying Luna as someone who takes her role as a performer very seriously. I completely understand why she didn't want to be seen with her dad and his band. Their different style of music, their odd choice in wardrobe, and their strange pre-show ritual just doesn't scream, I'm a rock star. If I were seen with these guys trying to dance in front of people, I too would want to get away as far as possible. As a side note for the Doodads, I noticed how Kotaro stopped playing his keyboard way back when he and Lynn Sr. used to play together, and switched to a cowbell starting in the episode Band Together. It's kind of weird how someone would ditch keys for more cowbell, but whatever floats your boat. We also see Rusty's father knows how to play the drums, and Harold McBride knows how to play the accordion, so we get a little more depth into who these guys are. Not a lot, but I'll take it. Getting back to Luna, the vibes I got from her in this episode are very similar to the vibes I got from the episode Undercover Mom, and the takeaway from the former is the same from the latter, which would be teenagers don't want to be seen and or associate themselves with their parents. They want to maintain their own identity so their peers will respect them, and for someone like Luna, she was worried her band and her fellow classmates at the park would laugh at her for being seen with a bunch of, well, old guys. Of course, she had nothing to worry about when the crowd started cheering for her at the festival, and even Sam was rooting for her. You know your fears were for nothing when your girlfriend is loving what you're doing for your dad. Speaking of the dad, I like the way Lynn Sr. handled himself in this episode. He may have inadvertently guilted his daughter into playing with his band, but can you really blame him? Luna is an incredibly talented musician, and through the power of a quick montage when they closed their eyes and began playing better than they were before, this girl's advice helped them give a boost in their confidence, and they saw Luna as the one who could really help them get off the ground. I also liked how he didn't go into a crying fit after realizing his daughter was trying to avoid being seen with his band. He was very understanding of why she did what she felt she needed to do, and even if it was an experience he wanted to share with his daughter, he came to terms with how their clashing preferences in music were simply not going to work out. Still, the fact Luna was willing to risk her rock and roll image when she saw the band, specifically her own father, struggling on stage was absolutely commendable. It was also very commendable for Luna's siblings to come through for her by preventing the audience at the restaurant from trying to record the show. I was a little confused as to why they didn't try to do the same thing when they were at the park, but I guess there's only so many people they can stop before someone manages to leak the show to others. Better call that plumber, Lenny. However, there is one sibling that didn't sit right with me in this episode, and that would be Luan. I can't really say she was a negative per se, but I confess I really didn't understand why she needed to use Mr. Coconuts to talk for a good portion of the episode whenever she was on screen. I already laid out my theory in my review of Director's Rut on why she uses her puppet to talk on her behalf on certain occasions, but I didn't see a reason for her to use Mr. Coconuts in this episode when Luan was talking just fine without him. Even their scene in the park didn't seem all that necessary. Was it her way of taking the blame off herself if the advice her puppet was giving didn't work out? It wouldn't surprise me. Even so, the advice Luna got from Mr. C on preventing others from recording the show at Lin's table worked out perfectly. Pity the same couldn't be said when she tried to fake a hand injury. Well, I mean, it almost worked out. Dang it, Lin Jr. Overall, this was another fantastic Luna episode when it came to once again building upon her rock and roll persona, and it played well to how teenagers don't want to be seen with their parents for a number of reasons, and I think we all know what those reasons are. I enjoyed the neon light montage with the doodads during rehearsal, I really enjoyed the music they played, and most of all, I liked Luna and Lin Sr. as the standout characters, and how they both had a moment of growth towards the end. Luna came through for her father in more ways than one, and her father didn't set off the waterworks when her daughter's plan to ditch being seen with him was made obvious. Aside from Luan's use of Mr. Coconuts to do most of the talking when a lot of it seemed rather unnecessary, the story played out the way one would expect, and as far as I'm concerned, it just works. With that said, I give Dad Reputation a 9.4 out of 10. Well folks, that concludes my review of Dad Reputation. As I said way back when I started doing these reviews, it's hard to top episodes starring Luna because of how well written they are for a character like her, and this episode only continues to prove my point. You may disagree, but that's just how I see it. So what did you guys think of it? Love it? Hate it? Something you would add? Change? Keep it as it is? Let me know in the comments below, and make sure to subscribe to this channel for the latest Loud House content. That's going to do it for me. I'll catch you guys for the next video, but until then, this is SteamTeamRedubUK, CC Trainor-Ling, signing off. Peace out, home slices.